Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make the Green Lantern logo. It's going to be really easy. If you want to make it, here's what you're going to need. You'll only be needing these two colors. Grab yourself some dark green wool and some white wool. You could equally use lime green wool instead of the dark green. However, I prefer the dark green. It's just personal preference really, whichever you prefer. Once you have your two colours of choice, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, I'll be making it right here, you'll want to kick this off with a row of 16 dark green wool in a row on the floor. That is 1, 6, 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Like so. And once you have your row of 16 dark green wool, this is what you want to do next. Come over to the left hand side of your row, and starting from the first block on the left, this one right here, you want to do an up left diagonal. And then go left of it by 1. Then do another up left diagonal. And go left of it by 1. Then do 3 up left diagonals, so 1, 2, and 3. Then place 1 on top of the third up left diagonal. Then do another up left diagonal. Place 1 on top. Then do another up left diagonal. And place 15 on top. That is 1, 5, 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then from the 15th block, the top block, you want to do an upright diagonal. And place 1 on top. Then do another upright diagonal. And place 1 on top. Then do 3 upright diagonals, so 1, 2, and 3. Then you want to do a single block going right of the third upright diagonal. Then do another upright diagonal. Go right of it by 1. Then do another upright diagonal. And go right of it by, about 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And once you've done that, you have actually completed pretty much the entire left hand side of the giant circle that your logo is going to sit inside. And the reason that I'm cutting this off here is quite simply, if we keep continuing going on down this road, we're going to have to build downwards, and I really hate that. So this is what you want to have so far. Pause this if necessary if you're still working on that. However, once you've finished that, we can now just build up from the right hand side and connect it all together. As I said, the only reason for doing this is because I hate doing diagonals in a downward pattern. It's much easier to do them up, for me at least. So, continuing on. Coming down to our original row of 16 again, and coming over to the most right hand block, the 16th block, you want to do an upright diagonal. And go right of it by 1. Then do another upright diagonal. And go right of it by 1. Then do 3 upright diagonals, so 1, 2, 3. Go up by 1 on top of the third upright diagonal. Then do another upright diagonal. And go up by 1. Then do another upright diagonal. And go up by 15, 1, 5, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then, once you've done your row of 15, starting from the 15th block, do an up left diagonal. Go up by 1. Then do another up left diagonal. And go up by 1. Then do 3 up left diagonals, so 1, 2, 3. Go to the left of the third up left diagonal by 1. Then do another up left diagonal. And go left of it by 1. And now, finally for our circle, do an up left diagonal. and then go left of that diagonal until you connect to the other side of your circle, which you should perfectly. And you should end up with something that should look a little bit like this, a nice big chunky circular shape. So once you've reached this point right here, and as always, pause this if necessary if you're still working on any of that of course, it's now time for us to continue on. So the next order of business is for us to take our single outline of our circle and make it a little chunkier. Now it's kinda hard to describe how you actually do this, but it's really easy to see what I'm doing. What you essentially want to do, however, is trace along the inside of your circle. So you want to do this. You pretty much just want to add an extra layer to the inside of the circle. I'll show you what it looks like once the whole thing's been done, and you guys should be able to see quite easily how I've done this. It's not really difficult, as I've said. It's just kind of hard to put into words, although kind of just like adding an extra layer inside our circle is probably explanation enough. And there we go, let's take a look, shall we? So this is what it should look like once you've added an extra layer inside, and as I said, all you pretty much have to do is just go around the entire thing and just add an extra layer of dark green inside of the outline that you've just made, and it should just look like a big giant chunky circle now. So once you've done that, as always, pause this if necessary if you're still working on any of that of course, we can now move on to the actual logo part of this. So come down to the bottom of your circle and come over to the left hand side here, where we have this first square that we have on the left hand side. I was going to say these first two blocks that we placed in a diagonal pattern, however we now have a square. On top of the upper left hand corner of your square, you want to go up on top of this block by 3 with your white wool. So 1, 2, 3. Then place a dark green wool on top of it. Once you've done that little pattern there on the left hand side, you then want to come all the way over to the right hand side and on top of the equivalent block on the right hand side, so the upper right hand corner of this square, you want to do the exact same thing. You want to do 3 white wool going up, 1, 2, 3, then place a dark green on top, and then you just want to connect those 2 dark greens together by bridging the gap. Just do a long row of dark green just to connect them together like that. So you just want to have something which should look like this. And once you have that, by the way, that's a row of 20 dark green. I don't know whether that information helps you or not. It probably doesn't. Once you have that row of 20 dark green right there, you then just want to stack 2 more layers of 20 dark green directly on top of it. So that would be the first layer, and that would be the... once I've placed it, that would be the second layer. So in total, you want to have 3 solid rows of 20 dark green wool, and that is just the base of the lantern. So I'm going to be back in a moment once it's all nice and bright again to continue on with the rest of the lantern. There's not too much left to do. Alright, so continuing on. Once you have your 3 layers of 20 dark green wool, this is what you want to do next. Come over to the left hand side of the top layer of your dark green, and starting from the first block, you want to take out your white wool, and going right, you want to do 5 white wool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You then want to, continuing going right, do 10 dark greens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like so. So you just want to have your 10 dark green wool in the very center of your row of 20 dark green. What you then want to do is this, starting from the left hand side of your row of 10, this first block right here, you want to do 3 upper left diagonals. So 1, 2, and 3. Place 1 on top of the third upper left diagonal. Then do another upper left diagonal, and place 5 on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then do an upright diagonal, and place 1 on top. Then do 3 upright diagonals. So 1, 2, 3. What you want to end up with is something that should look a little bit like this. Kind of how we did with the first layer of the outline earlier. I really don't like building downwards, so once you've taken care of that left hand side right there, we want to go ahead and do the exact same thing to the right hand side. So now coming back down to our row of 10 and coming over to the 10th block on the right, you want to do you want to do 3 upright diagonals. Almost got that wrong there. So from this 10th block, do 3 upright diagonals. So 1, 2, 3. Then place 1 on top of the 3rd upright diagonal. Then do another upright diagonal. And place 5 on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then do an up left diagonal. And place 1 on top. Then do 3 up left diagonals. So 1, 2, 3. Then go left of this 3rd up left diagonal until you connect all the way over to the left hand side of the circular shape that we were just making. So you just want to have something which should look exactly like this. Kind of reminds me of a space helmet, all empty and such. You've got the shoulders on the bottom, the big giant globe on top. So once you've done that, it's now time for us to make the top part of our lantern. So come up to the top of your circle, and on top of this row of 10 that we have at the top of your circle, you just want to throw an extra layer directly on top of it, like so. And once you've thrown on your extra layer, you then just want to extend it out, either side, each by 5. So like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the other side as well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to give you a row of 20 in total. Once you have your row of 20, you then just want to throw 2 additional layers of dark green wool directly on top of it. So in total, you'll want to have 3 rows of 20 dark green. And you want to end up with something that should look a little bit like this. It's not looking quite right, is it? That's because we've not finished. So once you've taken care of those 3 rows of 20 dark green wool, this is what you want to do next. Come down to the bottom of the inside of your circle here, and figuring out just by kind of eyeballing it where the 4 middle blocks are of this row right here, raise up the 4 middle blocks. You should just have 3 spacers either side like this. Just eyeball it though, you should be alright. Once you have those 4 blocks raised up like this is what you want to do. Starting from the left hand side, do an up left diagonal. And go left by 1. Then do 2 up left diagonals. So 1, 2. Place 1 on top of the 2nd up left diagonal. Then do another up left diagonal. And place 3 on top. 1, 2, 3. Then do an upright diagonal. And place 1 on top. Then do 2 upright diagonals. So 1, 2. Go to the right of the 2nd upright diagonal by 1. Then do an upright diagonal and go to the right of it by 3. 1, 2, 3. So you just want to have something which should look a little bit like this, and as you guys can see, we're kind of just reinforcing the circle in between the two, well, between the top and the bottom parts of the lantern. So once you've got that half done right there, just as with the 2 previous times, I really don't like building down. So once you've got that left half taken care of, you want to go ahead and come back down to the bottom so that we can build the right hand side, we can build it up. So starting from the right hand side of this row of 4 now, do an upright diagonal. And go to the right of it by 1. Then do 2 upright diagonals, so 1, 2. Go on top of the 2nd upright diagonal by 1. Then do another upright diagonal, and go on top of it by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then do an up left diagonal, and go up by 1. Then do 2 up left diagonals, so 1 and 2, and finally just go left of the 2nd up left diagonal by 1 to fully complete your lantern. you want to have something which should look exactly like this. That is the lantern 99% complete. All we have to do now is just fill in with dark green the space between the big rings of the lantern that we've just made, the outer ring and just the inner ring now. We just have to fill that in with dark green, and then we have to fill everywhere else in with white wool, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing now. It's going to take a little while, however once I've finished, we'll be 100% done. I'll be back in a moment once I've fully completed our logo. So as you guys can see, I have finished filling in our logo. As I mentioned, all you really have to do is just fill in the separation between the two rings of the ring portion of your lantern with your dark green wool, and then you just have to fill everywhere else in with white wool and you will be absolutely golden. This is exactly what it should look like once it's been 100% completed. Hopefully you guys have the exact same thing on your screens as I do mine. Hopefully this was easy enough to follow. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.